Sit however you're comfortable. If you have a cushion or a block, sit on that. And we'll stay here for a little moment. We'll stay here and close our eyes if you haven't already. And rest your hands to where they're comfortable. So maybe resting them onto knees or onto thighs. Closing eyes and take a moment to sense where you're at. Take a moment to pause and arrive in presence. So being somewhere in our body is one thing, but being somewhere with everything we are is a whole different thing. And this is why we pause before we move. So with your eyes closed, gently softening the forehead. You might need to touch or stroke your forehead, the space between eyebrows. And we as humans, we can hold a lot of tension without even noticing. And we hold it for years, for a long time. So soften. Rest your hand back down. Maybe little movements into shoulders. Just to allow our shoulder blades to slide down towards pelvis. Just allow our shoulder blades to soften. Our shoulders to soften. Allow our collarbones to lengthen. Allow our neck to lengthen. A moment to remember that our neck is there to hold our head and not our shoulders. So maybe with your next exhalation, truly let your shoulders drop and trust that they'll stay, they'll fall into place. And you might want to do the same with your hips, your thighs. So inhaling, growing tall, and as you exhale, you simply relax your inner thighs, your hip flexors. Give your spine an opportunity and permission to stack itself up. So your sit bones are grounded evenly, and then your spine rises tall, balancing head above body. And with your eyes closed, softening further, going a little deeper, softening into cheeks and ears and inner ears. Soften your jaws, unlock them. The root of your tongue and the roof of your mouth, maybe the flesh around our teeth. Notice what it feels like to put a smile in your eyes. And then also take note of what's alive around you. Sense and feel and hear all that is happening around. Maybe there's some birds outside your window, cars or wind, the sea. And let it all be there as part of this moment. Being present means present towards the world within ourselves and present to the world outside. And ultimately embracing that those two worlds are not separate, one thing. Notice those thoughts that grab your attention and carry you away. And anchor your awareness. For some, it's great to anchor into breath, or sounds, or sensations. See what is most accessible for you today. Let everything fade away, all that is not part of this moment. Everything that's past and future. All that is concepts and ideas in your mind. All that is thinking. Breathe space around it and continuously, consciously bring your awareness back to here and now. And let's all for a moment shift our attention to breath. So witnessing breath with a deep sense of curiosity. So imagine this was the first breath you ever took in your life. Really curious. Witnessing air, breath flow in and into body, noticing where it lands and how your body moves with your breath, and then breathing it out again. Deeply curious. And you're not forcing your breath, you're not straining, you're letting your breath be breath. And guide your attention to this sensation of expansion as you inhale, and the sense of softening and letting go as you exhale. And notice how your body kind of flows with that breath. Whenever I come to this point, the image that arises for me is the ocean. The swelling and moving. Get that same sense in your body. Notice how you can grow tall with your inhalation and soften and relax your periphery with your exhalation. Imagine yourself breathing up through center from pelvic floor into crown and really growing tall through your spine. And then as you exhale, your periphery softens, the lower ribs, the shoulders, the shoulder blades. And as we slowly open our eyes, stay grounded with this flow of breath. So as we start moving, we're going to use our breath. We're going to use this expansiveness as we inhale and this surrender as we exhale. Slowly opening eyes, we reach our arms out to the sides. And let's see here, spreading fingers wider than you ever have. As you inhale, you reach tall into crown, reaching into fingertips, and as you exhale, slide your shoulder blades down. Relax your thighs, your hips. And again, inhale, grow a little taller, grow a little wider, spread your fingers a little further, maybe reaching hands back, and as you exhale, again, sliding shoulders down, growing taller into crown. And you'll notice, even though we're not moving on the surface, inside everything is happening. So every inhale, grow tall and wide, hands reach back. Every exhale, you soften. Beautiful. And let's bring our hands forwards, interlock your hands, turn your palms forwards. Point your elbows downwards so your collarbones are nice and wide, and reach into wrists. And if you like, swap your legs, swap the interlock, come to cross legs again. And then when you're ready, reach your arms up and away. And your arms might be in line with ears or in front. And again, inhale, growing tall. As you exhale, slide shoulders down, drop lower ribs down. Inhaling through pelvic floor up into crown. And then continue to reach your arms back, without collapsing in your spine. So staying tall. And if you want, you add your gaze up towards ceiling, high and tall on your sit bones. Every inhale, you grow taller. With every exhale, you relax your shoulder blades down. Go to where you can. Find your own edge. Notice what happens within you. Every inhale, growing tall. Every exhale, softening.
Are you recording?
Am I recording?
No, let's the recording back on.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not recording you guys, don't worry, if that's what you mean. I'll be recording my class, the class on the video. Okay. So reaching up, bring your hands forwards, open your hands wide. And then lift your knees up, lift your feet up. Bring your hands to thighs and draw your thighs a little closer. Can you wrap your arms around your legs? And lift your sternum, lift your heart a little higher. Bring your shins parallel to earth. And maybe even more, maybe even higher. And just checking in, we're noticing, and we're all different. Flex and point your feet wherever you're at. Flex and point your feet. Can you find ease here? Make sure your shoulders are not coming up to ears. Soften. Beautiful. And then we release our legs. Can we reach our arms up? Bring your shins parallel to earth. Lift your heart up high. Open your arms wide. And lift your sternum high. Deepen into navel. Relax your hip flexors. And then we'll cross our legs one more time. Reaching our arms up high. Inhaling here. Exhaling the shoulder blades down. Inhaling taller through your crown. Exhale your hands down to earth. Make it a big movement. The biggest movement ever. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, soften shoulders down. Inhale, lift into crown. And exhale, arms to the sides and down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, rising arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders down, rising taller into crown. And bringing hand down onto earth. Whichever hand you want to start with. Reaching the opposite hand up and over. Keep the sit bone grounded deeply. So the opposite sit bone, keep it grounded, reaching up and over, lengthen into the side body, and then gently bend your top elbow and point it to knee, rounding your upper back, rounding your lower back, really making space. Take another breath here, widen, and as you inhale, you open your top arm up to ceiling. Spread your fingers and look up at your top hand. Slide your shoulder blades to back pelvis. Lift your navel, lift your heart. And we'll reach through that top hand back to center. Inhale here. Exhale, sliding shoulder blades down. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale, opposite hand comes down. Reaching over. Growing long through the side body. Sense and feel. Use your breath. Every inhale, length. Every exhale, you soften. Beautiful. Let's draw our top elbow to knee. Gently bend it. Round your lower back. Round your upper back. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Really open wide. Another inhale here. Exhale. And as you inhale, you rise your top hand up. Look at top hand as if you're looking with your nose. Reaching a little taller and then coming up. Rising arms up high. Inhale here in our center, arms alongside the ears. And this time we'll twist. We'll twist around our navel and we'll drop our hands down to earth. Twist looking over back shoulder. Your spine long as if you're twisting around this pillar of spine. Twisting, looking over back shoulder. Finding more and more depth with every breath you take. Maintain that sense of curiosity. Coming back to center. Inhale. And then slowly going the other way. Twisting around your spine. Your hands come down. Open your collarbones as much as you possibly can. Every inhale, you grow tall. With every exhale, you soften your shoulder blades down. And you go a little deeper into your twist. Let's take another breath here to deepen. And then coming to center, rising arms up. Inhale here, we exhale to hinge forwards, rolling onto the front sit bones. Hands come down, and we're all different. Maybe you stay here, maybe you can lean forwards, rolling forwards, forehead might land on mat, rolling deeply onto front sit bones, lengthening it out. Soften your knees apart. To come out of this, we bring our chin to chest and round ourselves up to sit. As you come up, roll your shoulders up and down and back and away a couple of times. And then bring your feet a little closer, roll over your feet, come onto hands and knees. Find your hands under shoulders, find your knees under hips. Have a look at your hands, spread your fingers wide, spread them out. Align your wrists and gently circle around your wrists. So stretching out the wrists. Stretching out the palms, stretching out the arms. Have a look at your knees, they're hip wide, and your feet as well. So your shins are parallel, circling. We're preparing our hands to become really awesome feet. And then how about we lift our palms for a moment and stretch out our fingers. How does that work for you? Lifting palms, add some weight into the front. And then we bring our palms back down, spread our fingers even wider, and
as you inhale, you lift your sternum, you lift your sit bones. It's as if you're drawing hands and knees towards one another, lifting into chin, lifting into sit bones. Open your heart forward. Tuck your elbows towards hips. So bend your elbows a little, have a look, point them to hips, and then stretch your arms out again. Another inhale here. As we exhale, we go into the opposite movement. We round it out. We push earth away. We point tailbone down. If you like, add a little bit of movement, chin to chest, lift your navel. And then inhale to arch it out again. Now you're welcome to move slowly if that works for you. If you want to move with your breath, linking breath and movement, you're welcome to go there. So for a moment, we'll flow in our own pace. Flow into where your spine might need a bit of opening. And if you feel like rolling left and right and circling or drawing circles with your sit bones, then that's where you go. There is no wrong or right. There is no good or bad. This is your opportunity to really tap into body, to connect into body, to feel and sense where you need a bit of space. And then from here we'll find our neutral spine. Find the longest line from neck, where spine meets scalp, all the way into tailbone. The longest line through your body. Maintain that as you lift your knees. So your toes are still pointing back. Just lift your knees to hover. And see if you can lift the knees a little higher, stretching out the toes. Maybe have a look. Align your feet, stretch out the feet, gently, mindfully, noticing, no forcing. And then bringing knees back down onto earth, we'll tuck our toes under, spread our toes out wide, filling each movement and each breath with curiosity. Gently look forwards, long spine, we lift our knees again. This time we shift our hands, we press them forwards, we reach our hips back. Bend your elbows slightly and notice them pointing back towards your feet. So hugging elbows into hips, and then you can stretch your arms out again. Slowly lift your sit bones up into down dog and start walking on the spot. So lifting one heel at a time, bending one knee at a time. Maybe watching your feet as you do so. Notice how they move. See if you can spread the toes. And then see what it feels like to look forwards at your hands. Can you ground your hands into earth? And not so much pressing down, but reaching them forwards. So most of your weight moves into hips, moves into feet. And continue to breathe deeply. Let your breath carry you through this. We're opening into back legs. We're finding length into our spine. And eventually just let your head hang. Shake it no and nod your head yes. And how about we stretch out both legs? And from here, both heels lift, both knees bend, the sit bones lift high. Really draw your heels forward, stretch out the toes. Look at hands and see if you can lift your right toes to touch the ceiling. Keep your hips and chest level. Remember your elbows pointing to back corners of your mat. And we'll swap sides. Right foot comes down. Heels lift high, knees bent. See if you can rest your tummy on your thighs. And then left leg wants to touch the sky. In your own perfect way. And the leg comes down. And we'll come back onto knees. We'll point our toes back and just go into one more cat and cow stretch. Arching and rounding. Swaying hips left and right. Rolling shoulders, circling shoulders. Feel your shoulder blades slide around. And from here, tucking toes, center yourself out. Find your down dog. And then walk your hands to feet slowly, step by step. As you arrive at your feet, notice they're hip wide apart, the outside edges of your feet are parallel. We'll slide our hands up onto knees. We'll lift our heart forwards and up. And we'll poke our sit bones back. Tuck your elbows into hips. Lots of length. You can even gently press your hands into thighs. Take an inhale here. And with your exhalation, you give yourself permission to flow forwards, to just hang. So from the hips, tilting forwards from the hip joints. Let your head hang, maybe shaking it no, nodding it yes. Let your arms hang. Spread your toes, wiggle your toes, shift your weight from foot to foot. Front feet, back feet. Lift your kneecaps a little higher, lift your sit bones a little higher. And again, we'll slide our hands up our feet, up our shins onto thighs. We lift our gaze, we lift our heart, we lift our navel. Long line through spine. Inhale here. And one more time, folding it forwards. Welcome to be still or welcome to sway. Find your own individual depth in this pose. Find your own challenge, your own edge. And let's bend our knees, chin to chest, round ourselves up to stand. Beautiful. Feel your feet ground, feel your hips stack. Come up, roll your shoulders back, slide your shoulders up to ears and down and away. Couple of circles here. And then on our next inhale, the hands reach down and we open our arms through the sides and up. Hands, have a look, hands shoulder wide apart. Imagine you're grabbing the space above you. Looking forwards again, and then as you exhale, you slide your shoulder blades down. You slide your rib cage down. At the same time, you lift through your pelvic floor. So there's a really strong connection through your center. And then we take that into chair pose. Imagine there was a chair behind your mat. Gently bring your hands onto kneecaps, cupping them and just push them back a little more. Lift your heart forwards and folding forwards, tilting from the hips as good as you can. Let your head hang, let your arms hang. On our next inhale, we look forward and we find plank. Have your hands shoulder wide. Have your feet also nice and wide, a little wider than the hips. Shoulders above hands. Strong plank. So strong plank can also be on the knees, right? Strong plank. Shoulders above hands. Look slightly forward. Picture that line from tailbone into neck and keep that long. Rise into the space between your shoulder blades. Hug your lower ribs in. Hug your front hip bones in. And are you still breathing? I'm just checking in. Let me see your jaws. Are you grinding teeth? No. You're smiling. Good. Yes. Can we stay here a little more? And the knees are allowed to help. Beautiful. And just be here. Embrace all that is. Feel into it. And let's, from inhaling here, let's exhale into down dog. So hips shifting back, hands reaching forwards. And again, we'll inhale back into plank. And how about we roll our outer right heel onto mat and our inner left heel. So our feet kind of stack there. Now, can you press your hands into earth and lift your hips even higher? How high can you lift your hips? Both hands still on earth. How high can you lift your hips? Okay, bring your shoulders back above hands. And let's lift our left hand up. How does that work? Good. Beautiful. Might we be able to lift the left leg up? Might we be able to do that? And it might feel like doing yoga on a boat. Reach a little higher. Beautiful. And hand and leg down. We find our plank. We bring our knees onto mat. We point our toes away. Ground the tops of your feet. And then point your tailbone down. Drop your hips and lift your heart. Really squeezing the glutes, squeezing the navel up so that you can open your heart. Picture that line of your spine and make it as long as you possibly can, from tailbone into crown. Inhale here. Exhale, hands and knees, tap your toes. Find down dog. From down dog we find plank. From plank we roll onto outside edge of left foot, inside edge of right foot, and then we press our hands forward and see how high can we lift the right hip. How high can we lift it? So it's a bit of a in-between side plank and down dog. We bring our shoulders back above hands and see if our right hand might be able to strive up. And if we trust our left foot, we might be able to reach our right leg up. Lifting hips, lifting hand, lifting leg, reaching up, lifting the corners of your mouth, don't forget. And then bringing hand and leg down, finding our plank. If chaturanga is part of your practice, you're more than welcome to go there. Otherwise, knees come down, toes point back, navel in, glutes strong, dropping hips, lifting hearts into cobra. So the lower back stays long and spacious. It's more of an opening into hip flexors and heart. And then back onto hands and knees. We tap our toes. We find our down dog. We shake our head yes, no. We shake it no. We nod it yes. Lengthen through your sit bones. And let's reach our right leg up. Reaching right heel high, left heel drops low. Check your shoulders, keep them in alignment. And then we slowly shift our weight forwards. We bring our shoulders to be above our hands. We draw our right knee into chest. Lift your right foot as high up as you can. Look slightly forwards off your mat. Lift your navel, breathe. Another inhale here and exhale, reaching foot back, lifting it up again. Flexing foot, pressing right heel up into sky. Let's do that again. As we come forward, right knee comes into chest. Beautiful. Widen your shoulder blades, lift your navel. Now make as much space between body and mat so that you can step your right foot to land between your hands. Beautiful. Let's bring our left knee down. We start here, pointing our left toes back. If you can slide your left knee back a bit, you can do so. And just gently move. How much space is there to move? Swaying your hips left and right. You might want to see how much space do I have if I straighten my front leg out. So be organic here. Trust your body to find its own edges and movement. Filling each moment with breath and curiosity. So no wrong, no right. Stay with it, explore with it. And eventually we meet with our knee above our heel. We slowly start lifting our chest. Now the tailbone, imagine it wants to point, draw a line from tailbone to front heel. So your pelvis is tilting backwards. And while the pelvis is tilting, we soften into it. So it's a deep stretch into left hip flexors. Your hands may be on knee to support you, or your hands may be striving down to earth. The sacrum, this point here, super wide. Navel strong. Beautiful. Stay with it. Sink a little deeper into hips. And then right hand comes onto knee. Left hand down onto mat in line with right heel. And right arm strives up. See if you can shift your pelvis forwards even more as your right hand reaches back. Feel that deep opening in your chest. Open out wide. Now we place our right hand onto sacrum. See if we can lift our left arm up. Pointing right elbow to back foot. See if you can go a little deeper. And then we bend our left elbow, hook it over the outside of our right knee and twist. You might want to stay here, or maybe you want to lift your right arm up. Bring right hand onto left and twist even further. If you want to take it deeper, you press the top of your left foot into earth and you lift your left knee. As you twist deeper,
as you sink deeper into hip flexors. Wherever you're at, another big deep inhale, a big deep exhale. Slowly reverse, coming back out of it. We meet with our fingertips in line with front heel. We shift our hips back, fold over our extended front leg. Coming forwards, knee above heel, back toes tuck under, back knee lifts, hands ground flat, right foot slides back into down dog. So wherever we go, make it yours. Stop where you need to, go as far as you need to. Right foot comes down onto earth. Left leg rises. And as we shift our shoulders forwards to be above our hands, we draw our left knee into sternum. We lift our navel, we point our tailbone down, we lift our shin, our foot, and we never stop breathing. And exhale, shift it back. Foot back, press your left heel back, drop your right heel low. Continue to soften, find your inner strength. Coming forwards, knee into chest, foot lifts high. We're going to press the mat even further away. Make as much space as we can to land our left foot between hands. And then we bring our right knee down, we point our right toes back. Whew. And if you think this is only challenging for you, it's not. I am huffing and puffing here today. So shift your hips left and right, right and left. Remember, find some space. So we hold a lot of tension in our hips, in our hip flexors. It's beautiful to explore that tension. Or maybe beautiful is not the right word because it doesn't feel so beautiful. It's powerful to explore that. Okay, knee above heel, hands onto knee. Let's start here. Lift yourself up a little, point your tailbone down, lift your navel, lift your pubic bone so your entire pelvis tilts backwards, and then see if you can go deeper into it. You might need to keep your hands here. Your hands might be able to slide down. Super strong navel, so you're not collapsing in your lower back, you're opening the hip flexors. Beautiful. And then maybe left hand onto knee. Maybe right hand flat onto earth, in line with left heel. Maybe from here you gently twist and reach your left arm back. Check into right shoulder. It has a tendency to roll forwards here. Keep your collarbones open. Good. Going a little deeper. Now left hand lands on sacrum, adding a bit of weight into our hips. Landing on lower back. Good. Now we might be able to bring our right hand up. The one on the mat. And we might be able to bring our elbow onto left knee or over. We might be able to lift our left hand and then press it into right, into this prayer. We push our hands into one another to twist a little deeper. Can you soften your hips towards left heel still? And now you might be able to press your right foot into mat and lift your right knee without grinding teeth. Still lightness in your eyes and your mouth. Bring your knee back down. Center yourself out, fingertips onto earth in line with heel. Whew. Shifting it back, stretching out the back side of your front leg. Coming forwards, back toes tuck, back knee lifts, hands come flat, our down dog hands, our left foot reaches back into three-legged downward facing dog. We take another big strong inhale here. We exhale the leg down onto earth. We bring our knees onto earth. We point our toes back, and for a moment slide our sit bones onto heels. Release your forehead onto mat or onto hands, and then hands alongside feet. Let your shoulder blades slide apart. Close your eyes. Notice if there's a lot of thinking happening, let it drain into your mat. Come back to breath. Every inhale, lengthen your spine. With every exhale, you surrender. Don't hold on to anything tight. Use your breath as this beautiful opportunity to
Reinvent yourself each moment over and over again. Letting go and letting come. And when you're ready, round yourself up to sit on heels. Beautiful. When you're ready, coming into plank. Strong hands, strong fingers. From plank through your chaturanga, or you join me bringing the knees down, pointing the toes back, pointing tailbone down and lifting heart. In our cobra or up dog, we look over left shoulder at our feet. We come back to center as we inhale, we look over right shoulder at our feet. We come back to center, we find our way back into down dog. And from down dog, looking at our hands, watching them, witnessing them walk to feet. Sliding hands up our feet, up our shins, onto thighs. Checking in, is there more space? Does this feel different now? And as we exhale, we soften forwards. Let yourself balance above your feet. Wiggle your toes. Make sure you're not holding on to mat or anything. Spreading toes, grounding feet. And then bending our knees a little deeper. Point your tailbone down. We round ourselves up to stand. Let your body find its alignment. Stack it up naturally. And we come up and roll our shoulders back. Maybe shaking out legs or arms. Letting go of anything that might have gone a bit tight and tense. Good. Keep your left foot here at the back of your mat. We'll step our right foot forwards about 1 meter. And maybe you want to turn your left toes slightly outwards. Hands onto hips. Align your hips with the front of your mat. So your pelvis is nice and upright. Everything aligning toward the front mat. Shoulders roll back, elbows reach back. You might keep your hands here. Alternative would be to grab the elbows. Or the next level would be to bring your hands together into prayer. Turn them up and press your pinky fingers into spine between shoulder blades. Finding your variation, really honest and authentic with where you're at. So I'll go with this one today. Tilting pelvis forward. Already you feel a lengthening here in this front leg. Make sure your knee is not locking back, but your leg is strong. You've got some weight in the front foot as well. And you lean a little further. My hands are going to come down. If your hands are behind you, they just stay there. Releasing into this forward fold. Every inhalation is length and every exhalation is depth. Now to come out, we gently lift our gaze. We bend our front knee to rest above our heel, and wherever we add with our arms, we find our way up. We straighten our front leg out again and we rise our arms up and away. Now left hand comes onto left hip. We open our left hip backwards as our right hand reaches forward. Keep your feet exactly as they are. Right hand forwards, right hip forwards, left hip back. Can you make your torso and arm be parallel to the mat? Yeah, and no always is an answer. It's fine. Reach a little more, lengthen through the arm, through the torso. Hand comes down and it can land anywhere, on thigh, on shin, on foot, on mat. See if you can stack your shoulders and collarbones and maybe the top hand comes up. Find your own perfect shape. Not about what it looks like. Feel into it and maybe you can look up at your top hand. Turn your gaze, not just the eyeballs. Turn your head. Soften your neck. Good. Breathe your way deeper and deeper into the asana. Trust your feet. Trust the space that surrounds you. And let's reach through top hand and come up to stand. Beautiful. Hands onto hips. Left foot steps to right. Right foot steps back. Same alignment, same distance. Right toes pointing to front corner of your mat. Your hips parallel to the front. Your front knee strong, not locking back. Keep it strong. Not all weight in your heel, but keep some in the balls of your toes. Hands stay here, or into prayer. Inhale here to widen and lengthen. Make yourself as tall as you can possibly be. Lift your pelvic floor, lift into crown, hinge forwards from the hip joint. Keep your spine long. So if you pause halfway, find your torso parallel to earth, and then folding. Folding, softening. Every inhalation you make space, with every exhale you soften into the space you're creating. Continue to open up. You're welcome to move around in your asanas if that feels true for you today. We all slowly bend our front knee to be above our heel. And then with a strong navel, we lift ourselves back up to stand. We release our hands and rise our arms up. Okay, from here, right hand comes onto right hip. Roll your right hip back as far as you can. Left hip comes forwards, right hip back. Nice and upright in your pelvis. You start reaching into left hand. Start reaching into left hand. Reaching. Beautiful. See if you can bring your torso and arm parallel to the mat. And just work on that. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips. And then in our own time, we drop our hand. And we might notice that it's much further up or further down. And then maybe we can reach our top arm up. And we might be able to look at our top hand. Make sure you trust your feet. Wiggle your toes. Are they holding on to mat? Are you contracting? Are you contracting in your periphery, or can you trust and open? Can you trust your body to settle into this? Let's take another inhale. Exhale to deepen into navel. And then inhale, coming up through your hand, reaching up, opening up. Align your hips towards the front and step your feet together. So let's be at the end of our mat with our feet hip wide apart. Slide your hands down alongside your thighs and just stand tall for a moment. Wiggle your toes, standing tall. Let your heels drop, your feet drop while your torso rises high. And then inhale to rise your arms up, maybe through the sides, beautiful opening. As you exhale, slide your shoulder blades down and away. Lift onto toes as you inhale. Stand high on your toes, press your heels forwards. And then come into Utkatasana, chair pose. Maybe staying on your toes. Maybe you need to bring your heels down first. See what works for you. Find that edge. Long line through your spine. No compression in lower back. Arms in line with ears, not ears in line with arms. Let's inhale here, exhale our heels down. Inhale here for space. Exhale into forward fold. Isn't that nice? Shift from one foot to the other. Lift your sit bones high. Let your torso drop. Maybe your crown almost touching mat. And maybe not. And we'll look forwards, find up plank. From up plank, we might want to move straight into down dog or through this cobra flow. So, chaturanga, up dog, or this cobra variation. Lift your front shoulders, lift your collarbones. And every time we come here, things change. Come onto knees, come into down dog. Have a look forwards. Lift both heels, bend both knees. Find as much space between mat and body as you can. Picture your right foot landing right there between hands, and then watch it do exactly that. So foot between hands. This time our hands come onto knee. Good. So align your torso with your back leg. Hands on knee. And then push yourself away from your knee. Lift yourself up tall. Lift your front hip bones up. If you want to gently lift them with your fingertips, you can do that. Pointing tailbone down, and then drop your back heel low. Shift your front knee forward. Knees striving into opposite directions. Left hip rolling forwards, right hip rolling back. Really important. And then reach your arms up. Spread your fingers. Slide your shoulder blades down. spread your fingers even wider. Maybe bringing hands slightly out to the sides. We are claiming space. We're taking space. We're stepping into this most spacious self. And just be here. Experience yourself here for a moment. Okay, take that spaciousness slowly forwards, hinging forwards through your chest. Now, bring your hands in line with hips. Keep your fingers spread. Keep your chest wide and open. Keep looking forwards and up. Hinge a little further. Find your weight shifting into right leg. And then see if you can find your right leg balancing on it as your left leg rises up. And notice if your legs are shaking, they're shaking. Embrace everything that's part of this moment. Breathe deeply into it. Find as much space in your body as you can. And let's step it back. Land as elegantly as you can. Rising arms up. Dropping elbows low, in line with shoulders. And then open elbows out to the sides, reaching heart up. Dropping back heel, shifting front knee forwards. Beautiful. Arms come up. We hinge forwards. Let's see if this leg can carry us through one more round. Hug your knee with your hands, really loving it, supporting it. Coming forwards, finding right foot. See if you can lift your leg a little higher this round. You might be able to slide your hands down to ankle. But truly be where you're at. You might need your fingers on your mat. See how high you can lift your leg. See how deep you can go into it without thinking about it. Just exploring and feeling it from within. Sliding hands back up, bending right knee, coming up, stepping it back. And why not? We lift our arms into a bit of a yay, woo. And we bring our hands down. Beautiful. We bring our right foot into three-legged downward facing dog. Our glutes are shouting. Let them shout. Right leg down. Hands and knees. Whew. Pointing toes. Release. Whatever you might need to do this moment. Maybe cat and cow. Maybe circling and rounding. Reset. Come back to your strength. Come back to your center. Let your heartbeat calm down. Whenever you need to take breaks, you're welcome to take breaks. If you're ready to tackle the other side, we tuck our toes, we find our downward facing dog. We lift both heels, bend both knees, look forward, see the space between your hands, poke your sit bones up, point your elbows to hips. See your left foot landing between hands, and then effortlessly let that happen. So left knee above heel, hands come onto knee. Beautiful. Let's lift our back heel high, strong center, long lines through the body. We're claiming space, we're expanding. And then from here, shift yourself a little higher up. Maybe hands come onto hips. Right hip rolls forwards, left hip rolls back. Right heel drops a little. Keep drawing right kneecap up. Lift your hip bones. Sit deeper into front knee. Keep lifting back knee up high. So it's inner work. You're constantly adjusting and seeing if you can go a little deeper. Reaching hands up. Spread your fingers. Let your arms come outwards. And be crazy spacious. So you're like, whoa, reaching, opening. And just notice what that feels like for you. For some of us, this is a familiar way of moving, of being in this world. For some of us, this is like, so uncomfortable. So notice. And then hands come in line with hips. We hinge forwards even more. We find all our weight in our left leg. We find our balance here. This might be enough. Or maybe the right leg can lift. And earth is shaking here also. Keep reaching. Trust your legs. Trust the space to hold you. Be with it. Breathe through it. Step it back. Don't forget to celebrate. Yay! We bring our hands forwards, hug our knee. If you want to stay here, you stay here. If you can find that leg and reach your right leg up. Welcome to keep left knee bent. Maybe the hands can slide down to ankle. Maybe crown can drop to earth. Maybe right leg can lift a little higher. See where you're at. Be playful. Be playful. And then step it back down into lunge. Rising arms up, palms facing forwards, elbows drop. Make your elbows as wide as you can as you gently lean back. We rise up, we bring our hands onto earth. We let our hands ground, and our left foot comes back into three-legged downward facing dog. Our leg comes down onto earth. We open our knees as wide as the mat. We bring our knees onto mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Sitting tall for a moment. Just grab your thighs. Externally rotate your thighs. So lifting the inner thighs. And then hinging forwards from the pelvis. Flowing into our forward fold. So your big toes are touching. If it feels more comfortable to slide them apart, you can do that too. Let yourself soften into the space between your knees. Maybe your forehead on mat or hands. Soften your sternum down onto mat. Every inhalation making space. With every exhale you surrender deeper. Feel your breath and feel your heartbeat. Remember the subtle layers and dimensions of this moment. Remember to hear and include the sounds that surround you. Notice what's alive within you right now. Find what's spacious. And lift your head, lift your torso, walk your hands in. Bring your hands onto knees. So for those of you who are running out of time, you're welcome to, from here, just take it into your own savasana or add on whatever you might need to round off this practice.